Hi, I'm Elisa. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about all of the books that I read and all of the books that I hauled in the month of September. So September was not a great reading month at all for me. I think I only finished 4 books, which is crazy. I definitely got really slumpy. I was supposed to be in the middle of the magical readathon. It just didn't work out. Didn't work out for me at all. Yeah, I read 4 books, so set your expectations real low. So first up in September, I had ordered in August, but the order showed up in September. This is Burn After Reading by Catherine Ryan Howard. I bought this secondhand off Pango. It is new though. And this book was not published in the United States because I believe it was inspired by or closely resembles the O.J. Simpson trial, I want to say is why they didn't. But if you tell me a book was not published in the United States, I'm gonna want to read it. So I did find this for a decent price on Pango, picked it up. I have read from Catherine Ryan Howard before and enjoyed her writing, so I'm excited to see what this is. Technically not a book of the month or an aardvark, but I did buy it secondhand and I am very fascinated by it. So, and it's on my most anticipated reads of this year, which I put that on there before I knew it wasn't being published in the United States. So the first book I finished in the month of September is part of the reason I think I was in a slump. This is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. I gave this 2 stars. It's short and it took me over a week to finish. It is about a man whose wife disappears and he's an author, and then a year later he is still struggling to write and live his life, so his editor sends him, or his agent, sends him to this tiny island off the coast of Scotland, I believe. It's just really cut off from the rest of the world, and he feels like he might be going crazy, and things start to go a little crazy like Alice Feeney likes to do. This just didn't work for me. I'm realizing I don't love following men. Like, being in a man's mind I find to be exhausting, and I just didn't love this. This just didn't work for me. I was never rooting for him, which I'm not totally sure you're supposed to be, but like the whole time I kind of was like, I just kind of want something bad to happen to you because I just don't like you. So it just wasn't for me, and I am decluttering this book. From Aardvark, I picked up Coffin Moon by Keith Rawson. He wrote Fever House and The Devil by Name. I believe I own Fever House. So this is a Vietnam veteran and his adopted niece hunt and are hunted by the vampire that slaughtered their family. It's the winter of 1975 in Portland, Oregon. This sounded really interesting. Sounds like a really fun spooky season read. So I added it. I love Aardvark and how many horror books they put out. It caused me a little bit of an issue in September, which you'll see in a second, but I'm excited to pick this up. Let's talk about another Aardvark pick. This is You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White, which just like, it's a very unsettling worm cover. Alien meets Midsummer. Hell yeah. In this chilling novel about an alien invasion in rural West Virginia. And I have not had the best luck with alien horror novels. The one that sticks out in my brain was an extreme horror novella that I gave 1 star and hated with my whole heart. And so I'm nervous. This book actually makes me actively anxious, which made me want it, I guess. But like, reading the synopsis and being like, okay, I was just like, oh my god, if it's like the other one, I'm gonna be really upset. So we'll see. The next book I finished was an audiobook. It was The Other Wes Moore, One Name, Two Fates by Wes Moore. I am from Maryland, which means I'm hella annoying about my state. So I decided to read the governor's book. I actually was inspired by the guy. I don't know if you guys know him. I don't remember his name, but he makes videos and he is currently digging up books and reading books from every, like, one per state. That was a horrible way of describing it. But he's reading a book from every state that his wife set up and buried in his backyard, which is fun. And he read this one from Maryland, and then I was like, huh, I'm gonna read that. And it's basically about Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, his upbringing, and how there was another Westmore in Baltimore at the time who, same age, very similar setups in life, but this other Westmore ends up in prison, and obviously the known Westmore is the governor of Maryland. And regardless of what you think of Westmore and, you know, how he runs Maryland, it's a really interesting book in the fact of, like, you can have two people that have very similar beginnings, but what they do with those beginnings and the choices they make and how drastically that can change their lives. It was a very touching book. I think it says a lot about our society right now and the way that, you know, there are so many people who feel they have no other option than to resort to drugs and drug selling or violence. And it was really, really interesting, and it definitely touches on the fact that Governor Westmore's story could have been drastically different if one or two people did not care, or if he had not personally made certain decisions. So very interesting. Makes you think about life a little differently. Makes you think about the governor of Maryland a little differently. I gave it a 3-star. It was good. He's now trying to close the Jessup Correctional Facility, which was interesting because I read that headline and was like, why did I recently read about the Jessup Correctional Facility in this book? Next up, we picked up Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. This was a highly anticipated read for a lot of people. I actually did not know this was coming out because I haven't read the last Chuck Tingle that I bought, but it looks so cool, and I believe, yeah, Aardvark does such cool shit. Like, I am so close to canceling Book of the Month because it's just not hitting like Aardvark hits. I don't remember what this is about. 4 years ago, an unthinkable disaster occurred in what is later known as a low probability event. 8 million people were killed in a single day. Right. So this looks really short, but I have a feeling it's going to take me a little bit to get through. I'm excited. I'm excited. I want to read. Bury Your Gaze is still on my, like, need to read this soon shelf because I still really want to read it. Maybe we'll do some Chuck Tingle reading. And you're probably thinking, that's 3 Aardvark books. You can only get 3 Aardvark books in a month. I broke my rule. I broke my rule. I used my other Aardvark account, which I only initiate when I can't choose. And I got Local Heavens, which I was like, why can't I read that? Local Heavens by K.M. Fajardo. This, I believe, is a Gatsby retelling. And I'm not going to lie that this book, Naked, is not a huge reason as to why I wanted it. This kept popping up for me on Goodreads, on my local library site. There was just a lot of different places I kept seeing this book. And it's basically New York City 2075. So it's, you know, a sci-fi Gatsby retelling. And I'm not really sure what drew me in, but I just kept reading about it. And when I first read about it, I was like, nah. And then the more I read about it, the more I was like, I kind of want this. And then it became like, I don't know if I want this or a different Aardvark book. So I did end up just using the other account. It is hefty. I did not expect it to be this long, but oh my god. Yeah, it's a lot of pages. It's 450 pages, so unexpected to say the least, but I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. And then my fiance and I buddy read Stephen King's Salem's Lot. This is the third Stephen King that we have read together. We have read The Shining, which is my favorite, definitely. Pet Sematary, and then this. This ranks higher than Pet Sematary for me. I felt like Pet Sematary was disturbing and really sad, but not in like a fun horror way. It was just, well, not really sad, but it was disturbing and not in a fun horror way. It was just really sad and kind of boring. A little boring. This was not boring. I felt like you hit a point and it just was not slowing down, and just like, it was like, oh, and this, and then this, and then this, and then this. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. We were picking which Stephen King we were going to read this year, and he like read the back, and I was like, that tells me nothing. It's like, oh, it's a small town in Maine. It's about this guy named Ben. Ben? Ben. And he's returning to his hometown. And you think things might be happening. And I'm like, and then I was like, oh, this is the vampire book. So yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4. I gave The Shining a 4 too, but I kind of think that The Shining is a 5 in my heart. The Shining is a 5. This was a 4. I really enjoyed it. It does not slow down. I read this so quickly. Like, I thought, how many pages is this? Yeah, 650. I was like, oh, you know, this will probably take us like 6 weeks or so to like buddy read together. But then I just could not put it down. And he was like, hey, we were supposed to stop at part 1. And I was like, I didn't. And then he went out of town for work. And I got jumpy reading this by myself. And I was like, I don't know if I should, but I couldn't put it down. Like, I was like, I should not be reading this before bed when he is not here. But I'm going to read it before bed because I want to know. Really liked this. Had a lot of fun with it. It was a really good buddy read. I would highly recommend buddy reading it. And it's the perfect time of year to do so. Let's get in to the book of the month, shall we? This is one of my highly anticipated books of the year. This is Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. I read her vampire one. What the hell is it called? Oh my god, what is it called? I can't think of it. Last October actually, and I loved it. I ate it up. It's definitely, she writes like kind of corny. It's almost corny. It's kind of fun. It's kitschy, kind of campy horror. It's not super serious, and I loved it. And this is her haunted house novel. I know nothing else about it, but this is on one of my like must read by the end of October books because I just loved. What the fuck is the vampire one called? I don't even remember. It was the one she put out last year. Really loved it. I don't think I've read another one. I could be wrong, but I'm very, very excited for this book. Then I got Discontent by Beatriz Serrano. This is translated, and I believe this deals with like toxic work environments. And when I read that, I went, ooh, because I hate my job. So if I can find relatability and understanding in anything, including fiction, I'm gonna. So I picked this up. Also, what the fuck is this cover? And then I got another one of my most anticipated books, which had actually been a book of the month in August, and I didn't notice, I guess. I don't really know what happened. But like, I went on the app in September and I was like, wait a second, this is on your most anticipated, what the hell? So this is The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. I cannot remember for the life of me what Isabel Cañas wrote that I own, but I own some things. Let me find it. She wrote Vampires of El Norte and The Hacienda, which are 2 books that I own, have not read. I am obviously wanting to read all 3 of these. I like the gothic historic horror vibes that these all give off. I just need to read them. But I do really want to read this one. Which one is this? Demonic presence awakens deep in a Mexican silver mine. The young women it seizes must turn to the one man she shouldn't trust. Plague. Okay, I'm so down. I'm so down. And then the last book that I read in the month of September was, let me make sure that I get this correct, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. She wrote the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I love that book. I gave that a 5-star. Unfortunately, I gave this book a 2-star. It just did not work for me at all. I felt like the Very Secret Society was like a warm hug, and this one was like annoying to me. I don't know if it's just like my mindset's different or what, but it just did not work. I started it on audio and I read The Very Secret Society on audio and I flew through it. This one, it got taken from me, so then I had to check it out from the library and finish it physically, and it didn't work for me. The romance did not work for me. None of it did. It was cozy, but I also just found it to be meh. Like, I don't know what it was about this that didn't work for me where The Very Secret Society did, but I gave it a 2. And then last up, I bought a book by the woman who does my hair, Killing Henrietta. She has been working on this book for like a decade. It is about an unsolved murder of a young widow in a small southern Maryland town. Yeah, so my mom was like, hey, guess what? Miss Leslie finished her book. And I was like, what? I want a copy. So I've obviously, like, this woman had done my hair. She did my first haircut. And then I went and got my hair trimmed from her when I was home a couple weeks ago. So, hey, Maryland represent. Super exciting. I can't wait to dive into this because I've heard her talk about this case a lot. I also love true crime, and I'm very excited to learn more. And so that means that I bought 3 more books than I read in September. So I am not promising myself that I'm going to read these in October, but I am promising myself that I'm going to read these by the end of the year. That is what I'm saying. So these are the 3 oldest books on my TBR. The Librarian of Auschwitz by Antonio Iturbe. I wanted to read this in September anyway as my translated work for the Magical Readathon. I'm hoping that I will do like a catch-up vlog for the Magical Readathon. That is my intention, and this will be included. We shall see. Next up, The Narrow Road to the Deep North by Richard Flanagan. I've owned both of these since 2018, so this still really does intrigue me. I just need to get to it. And last up is City of Saints and Thieves by Natalie C. Anderson. I literally do not remember why I wanted this book so bad or what it's about, but I remember in 2018 being so intrigued and interested in this story. So hopefully I'm getting to these 3 by the end of the year. I'm not saying by the end of October just because spooky season, and none of these are like spooky. They're kind of sad. Quite sad. So I just don't feel like that's the vibe right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it is the vibe. Maybe I'm just going to get real depressed and that's what I'm going to read. If I get depressed, I'm not going to want to read. But you get my point. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. I think I need to cancel book of the month or aardvark because I can't catch up. I have too many books and I can't read fast enough, and then I'm getting in slumps. It's just too bad. It's just not good. I haven't even read 60 books this year. I'm spiraling. I might make a vlog about the spiraling because this video is long enough. So thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Bye!